Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome to Wildermyth, a game that I very briefly touched on back when it was still in early access, but which has since hit full launch, and I have been looking for an excuse to come back to it for quite a while now. Given that we are currently between bigger projects, I figured, what the heck, let's do it now. I've already got a waiting list of prospective characters, thanks to the raiders and the rank-and-file viewers. So we'll jump right in, run through a few chapters, maybe even a full story or two. We'll see where it takes us. Now, we will be jumping in momentarily, and I will be moving things along relatively quickly, so we can make some decent progress. But first, I should really thank the raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. With special thanks to Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. Right off the bat, I should stress, we are starting from scratch. Although I have played this game extensively, I thought it was best if we started with no pre-existing heroes or advantages. Given that I have unlocked nothing in this profile, we'll have to start with the first basic tutorial campaign, the Age of Ulstryx. Difficulty. I'm thinking we'll set it on Tragic Hero. That should crank things up just enough that we'll see some maimings and maybe even a death or two. But with enough leeway that we won't necessarily have to worry about the series prematurely ending, because all our fledgling heroes ended up dead in a ditch somewhere. And now it's time to set up our first batch of heroic hopefuls. I've already got a waiting list on standby, so let's hit the pause button real quick, and I will prep our party for the initial adventure. We'll be right back. And we're back. Alright, let's meet our ill-fated farmers. Quick note. I customize names and appearances, but everything else is procedurally generated. Kaz, the decisive hothead. Raised by a single mother who perfectly balanced motherhood and knighthood, Kaz and his three sisters admired her endlessly, and hoped to be able to provide for her someday. In a glade one morning, he met a doe woman, who showed him the secret of disappearing. He was driven to adventure by his lust for excitement, and penchant for making powerful friends. Lula, the romantic poet. Lula would recite tales for her friends of an exciting childhood among sprites and wasp charmers. No one could say whether the stories were true. When the moon was shuttered by tree branches, she sometimes saw a beautiful man picking dandelions. Approaching or calling out would always send him scampering. Sometimes it seemed she'd keep wandering until the sunlight turned to glass and stained itself in the world's passions. Retcon, the bookish loner. Even among his exhaustingly witty brothers, Retcon was considered the most agile and imaginative. Supposedly, he spent years in a very distant city. The story went that he rode the tides of fashion and was famous for a time, mixing lips with the hot-blooded, young, and free. He often wrote of such things, whether or not they were true. Burning with psychic pain, he clung to solitude and screamed into the thunder. Yeah, close enough. The cast has been assembled. Let us set the stage. This book. There's room in it for another story. It's cold. I'm stuck here. Why not scribble in a book, anyway? No one's going to read it. That'll make this the beginning. Here in my yondering country, something in the woods is very strange. Bothered only by a hole in his sock, a young man named Kaz takes the seasonal road to the town of Sandymware. Have to avoid Master Kalik's widow. He'll throw another pot at me. I mean, his son had it coming though, didn't he? Want to get me in a barrel fight, I'll oblige. Simple as that. Breeze is light that day. Birds are timid. In fact, the whole world is taking a breath, ready to leap in the sea. I'm there already, huh? Here's the hard part, getting Lula out of bed. She'll probably be sitting up, blanket wrapped, staring out the window, gnawing a mouthful of old biscuit and telling me to consider to reckon with the... That's smoke? Fluttering flames roost among the far-off rooftops. Kaz hurries towards town, thinking of Lula, a young woman whom he's known since boyhood. That woman will have some explaining to do if she dies. Lula, are you trapped? Lula! Don't be dead. And we're into it. As aforementioned, this early stuff is all basically just tutorial fodder, so we'll keep it moving. Her home's standing. It's all right. Breathe, Kaz. Lula, open up. You have help out here. Kaz doesn't know. Why is no one... The door unlocks. Lula shoves it open. Oh, yeah, fire? I know, sorry. Get inside, quick. Your bow. Yeah, there's things in the streets. You didn't see any? Like, monsters. I don't know. I've got one trapped behind... behind the house. They just rampaged in all of a sudden? Why not kill it? Right, so, here. I've got some tools around. You've always been, strong. So I'm thinking, together, we can at least drive it off. Together. Mm-hmm. And we will go for pitchfork. A spear is a nice solid weapon to start with. Alright, well, I'd like to keep this creature at arm's length. You know, in case we... Don't worry, Kaz. I'll be right here. Open the door when you're ready. All right, just let me stand in front of you. Row. Hooves thrown sloppily around beneath it. It runs staggering, bellowing its agony. Well, that sounds just lovely. Okay, let's not rush into the unknown. We'll set up by the door first, and then reset our actions. And we have visual. We'll bring Kaz up first, and then have Lula set up behind him. Nice hit. Hold. Oof, that hurt. But we're good. And our feeble farmers finally get some class. Kaz is our warrior. And I think we'll grab Sentinel for him. That's a good one to pair with the spear. That will allow him to move to intercept enemies when his guard is up, potentially killing them before they can finish their action. And Lula becomes our very first hunter. But we have no real idea if she's going to be more melee or range-based just yet. So we'll grab Rogue, which is a nice versatile perk. Every time she gets a kill, she'll automatically enter stealth mode. And a Silverbark Brooch, which is +5 blocking. Unfortunately, that's not really useful to either of our current characters. Both Kaz and Lula are more dodge-oriented than blocking-oriented. Yeah, I guess we'll just recycle that. We could use the spell thread. What kind of suffering did that poor beast endure? At least it's done. The creature's death is quiet. It seems to slip from life in a few stunned, hazy blinks. They'll spend a piece of the day getting the flames under control. The damage isn't as bad as it could have been. Townsfolk emerge from hiding to fight fires and clear debris, some full of curiosity, others visibly haunted by what they've seen. Retcon could be in trouble. Are you with me? Come on, let's keep our word. Retcon? He's at the ruined tower by now. It's a long way. Can we leave the town a mess? Others will take care of it, but Retcon will be waiting for us. What happened today could be happening everywhere, couldn't it? Something about that tower is just stuck in my mind. It's like when you get apple skin in your teeth. I can feel that analogy. It's unpleasant. Huh? Yeah. Anyway, I just think, we said we'd meet him. We should. The tower in the hills. You been there? Yeah, once. Actually, looking at the tracks, they come and they go. That direction. Kaz and Lula follow the pounded path of monstrous feet, hoping for the best, and dreading every other possibility. Let him be alive. Alive and unhurt. A wordless while passes between them, but the quiet only heightens their worry. You've known Retcon longer than I have. He's pretty capable, I feel like. Yeah, Retcon's a little broody sometimes, but he doesn't often disappoint me, you know? Weird things do tend to happen around him, but I'd say he's probably up there right now. Figuring things out. Here's our basic map tutorial. The previous night, the tower where Retcon had arranged to meet Kaz and Lula is a place he often used to escape to as a boy. He knows its rooms and floors so well. He could survive being chased through them. And now I wait, I suppose. Dust gets deep as rain puddles in here. Alive is alive, until that beast breaks through. You're not so bad, are you, beast? At least you're not loud. The tower has outlived generations. Now it's little more than a strange nest for spiders, owls, and trysting lovers. But as the old will tell you, precious things go overlooked in a ruin. What lodges amid the bones of failure is often the dream that drove it. That book. Why have I never... Easy there. I guess you're wondering why I'm talking to myself, huh, Beast? It's for the content. I'm also wondering. Retcon bends to pull it loose. The book's heavier than its slender spine suggests. Look at all this. It's full of strange stories, the folklore of folk long forgotten. The candlelight leaping strikes no significant bell. It's the weird story of a child watching candlelight against the ceiling and wishing himself through it to a far realm without grown-ups. Chant of the soil? Lacks any satisfying action. It's told through the mind of a blind, deaf tea grower. His nose is so sharp, he learns the song of the scented earth, and so avoids slaying worms with his shovel. Mama Slimberry's horn spins the yarn of a mother who drank so much and laughed so freely that she grew a beautiful spiral horn. Her children were very proud. Retcon reaches the last word of the final tall tale. A few blank pages are left. This book. Something in him feels like it's coming loose, but he can't tell exactly what. There's room in it for another story. It's cold. I'm stuck here. That'll make this the beginning. Here, in my yondering country, Retcon writes, words are ready. Omens have formed in the fabric of everything, and he's beginning to recognize them now. Some are just misgivings. They've crept through his body, like the sourceless aches one wakes with. Others are more substantial. Now they seem lightning plain, a promise of thunder. For in the wild black woods where birds once belled, a hateful silence churns. Pain lights Retcon's head. Subsides. I made it to morning? He lowers his bleary eyes. His story lies before him in luminous script. Empty pages have sprouted behind it. Why do I feel powerful? He slides a branch from the rubble. It's sturdy. It has a palm-loving twist. Well, Beast, it's time. I'm getting out of here. Rager. It charges without seeing. Misshapen tusks swinging wildly. Which would be scarier if not for the fact that this was a magic tutorial. Now, under normal circumstances, a creature would try to bust down obstacles to reach you if it was cut off like this. But in this case, I believe we can pelt it to death at our leisure. Feel the burn. Rhett has become our first mystic, and he has an intriguing set of initial abilities to choose from. I will say, my my first instinct is to go for Spirit Blade, which I usually do like. It emits a passive aura that boosts the damage output of all nearby allies. But this early in the campaign, we might want to go with a more versatile choice, which instead draws my eye to Earthscribe. That one does offer a pretty nice blend of offensive and defensive abilities. So yeah, let's start with that one. We also found a Bear Strength Scarf, which isn't ideal because as a Mystic we're going to be doing spell damage to most targets. But, I mean, it looks halfway decent, and there are cases where we might have to hit something with our staff, so I guess we'll take that. More monsters roam the ruined halls and rattle the rotting furniture. But Retcon moves quietly, sensing his way in the dark. Daylight lands on his wrist. Cool wind soothes his tired eyes. I'm still allowed to live? He closes the tower door, gentle to make no noise. That was the Mystic's art that I did, right, Tower? Where'd I get it from? Could it have just happened? Is it just one of those things? Things a man's born with that might blossom in his life when he needs them? Suddenly I could listen to the bookcase, talk to the flame. I feel the sweetness in that onion plant. Retcon? Are there books on this? Perhaps that's the first order of doing, is to gather a little knowledge. Retcon, you alright there? Hey, Retcon, something happened? Yeah, I forgot you two were coming. I'm sorry, I just had the weirdest night, and day, and Kaz saved my life. We barely made it out here. Yeah, see that smoke on the horizon? That's from the town. Yeah, that's Slimberry. It burned. Things are different than they were. Yeah, well, I don't know if you've seen something quite like this. A monster? Sure we have. We slay monsters. Okay, well, I do magic. Yeah, you tell him, Rhett. That doesn't sound petty at all. Now we get our first real fight. The training wheels are coming off. I'm sick of talking. I'm going in. Don't follow me if you're scared. A perfect understanding isn't likely to emerge. What these beasts are, where they came from, what drove them to attack the town of Slimberry, not its name, but letting them nest here feels like the wrong idea. Unless you really are scared, let's just pick a plan and go with it. Sure, well, we'll go with the defensive option. I just came out of there. If we're methodical, patient, we can fend them off at least. +1 armor. Good thing, too. Kaz is still injured from his last fight. Raccoon. Scrambling through shadows, its barbed appendages eagerly twitch. No visual. We'll have Lula take point. First room's clear. We'll get ourselves set up. Okay, that's not bad. We'll knock out the row. And I'm going to hobble the raccoon, so it can't get too much distance on us. Nice, nice. Ow. Fork you. Oh, and Brawlguard. Well, that is perfect for Kaz, because we're setting him up to be a dodge-based spearman. The last misshapen creature folds its bones and dies. Blue fluids darken the dust. Calmly into death. There's dignity in that. You make it sadder when you say that. Hey, look at us. Look what we did. Yeah. Day drops. Day rises. Dusk is sweet. The sunrise sweeter. It's not long before they've cleaned the old tower up a bit. I always liked its weird stairs and stones. And it did save me. Someone's got to keep fighting. On our roads, our hills, in our wild places. The threat will only grow. We all feel that. Let's not wait to be overrun. We're a company of heroes now. We'll walk the land. We'll fight. People need us. We'll give ourselves a name, and make sure it's one they'll sing. Sounds like you've thought about this. And time to name our company, which will, of course, be the RetconRaiders. Because that schmuck in the robes just can't help himself. After that, the three of them are inseparable. Rumors are rampant, heroes are needed. This world will be flooded in sorrows, but its defenders are joined by a fire that night. Here follow the tales of the RetconRaiders. Be remembered. And because that was our first real fight, the enemies now grow stronger. Which sets up an interesting dynamic. The more you grind, the more powerful your enemies become. So it's a careful balancing act. And that gets us through the tutorial. Let's go grab our fourth and we can start adventuring in earnest. Alright, let me grab my waiting list, and I will set up our new recruit. And we're back! With Ghislaine, the hot-headed peacemaker. Brought into the world by two selfish Slavs, Ghislaine had to struggle from an early age to be heard or fed, to find fit and purpose. He once took refuge in the home of an ancient hunter. Through long, rocky breaths and addled contradictions, the man told tales of exploring this uncharted country. Set on someday living in wealth and comfort, he sought his fortune in the vast unknown. Technically, the raider who requested this character actually wanted Sir Ghislaine, but I figured we'd hold off on the honorific until he's got a few levels under his belt. Right now, he is but a lowly farmer. Another person? I've only just gotten used to the ones already here. Come on, a world-spanning battle song needs as many verses as it can get. Plus, I'd like some extra help starting conversations when you and Kaz are doing that awkward silence thing. The stars were beginning to come out by the time they got back into Sandymere proper. Good thing we got in when we did. Looks like most people are still out and about. Maybe we can knock out this errand sooner rather than later. Wait, you're back? Already? You wiped them out that quickly, or...? You didn't give up, did you? Not yet, anyway. Good. That would have been distressing news. Actually, we're back because we're looking to expand the company. What about you? You look virtuous. And you could probably fight with that thing in a pinch, right? Probably. I'd always thought of myself as a grower or a builder, but I suppose I could, for the right cause. And there's not a lot else keeping me here right now. It's the season when a young man has to figure out what to make of his life. And this season has brought a lot of changes. Can't argue with you there. It would be good to have the help. We've learned a bit out in the wild so far. We can have someone get you up to speed. And Ghislaine will be a warrior. I'm thinking a conventional sword and board tank. Though it will depend somewhat on what the RNG throws at us. Ooh, Paladin. Yeah, that's pretty much perfect for Ghislaine. Lack of mobility is likely to be his biggest issue, but this would help offset it. Welcome aboard, Ghislaine. And now that we've got our fourth, let's start setting up our basic defense infrastructure here. We're okay right now, but eventually enemy armies will start marching on various outposts and settlements, so it's best to have defenses set up for that in advance. I think level 2 should be fine. Level 3 is obviously better, but it takes twice as long to set up. Now we'll grab an item from Narme Watch and set up defenses here as well. Ooh, Stormflint Pauldrons. That is a potency boost, which is most commonly used to calculate spell damage, so that will go right on Ret. Yeah, looks halfway decent too. Now for defenses, and then we can start exploring uncharted territory. And since we're past the tutorial at this point, each of these other territories will each have a randomized event, either a combat event or a special story event. Oh, and there's our first calamity. Over time, enemy factions will power up, gaining new unit types or special bonuses on pre-existing unit types. That's one of the main reasons you don't want to spend too much time grinding, because at a certain point the enemies will start to outpace you. Contolonia. Assault on Yili Threshery. The Thrixel shouldn't be too much further ahead of us. I could have sworn they went this way. They did. Look, behind those rocks. What have you found, Lula? Tunnels, burrowed deep into the earth. I say we get in there. We can't let them get away. We'll go for the defensive option. We have slightly better chances with that. Let's not be hasty. We can lay a trap and wait here for them to emerge. Hurry, who knows when they'll be back. This is a cowardly way to engage our foes. Sometimes the best route is the safest. It's not cowardly to use every advantage. You're right. Let's get started. Working together, they fashion a trap from nearby saplings. Now we cover it with fallen leaves. I hear something. Everyone, hide! They quickly duck behind the rocks, the sounds of chittering growing ever louder. The insectoid creatures emerge from the earth, spindly legs carrying them into the sunlight. And then... It worked! Yes, but it won't hold them for long. We have the advantage. Attack! The Rixold Weaver. Its head weaves in odd patterns, eyes shine like moons. Hissing suddenly, it looms to strike. The Rixold Thrusk. Clambering and clattering, it cries out in doubled voices. Pretty creepy. Okay, looks clear, but there might be some on the right. There are. But fortunately, because Ghislaine has Paladin, he automatically went on guard. We'll set everyone else up behind him. And we'll have Rhett interfuse with this web fan. That's considered a bone prop, so he'll get special bonuses with Earth Scribe. Interesting. I really thought they'd advance on us. But fine, we'll push up to the next door. Might as well take a pot shot. Oh, you know what I think it is? The Dweaver is too wide to get through the doorway. Nice. I wasn't sure if that would be enough for the Thrusk. Oh, and we'll withdraw from the web. We're not going to get any use out of that. There they are. All right, Raiders. Into the fray. Oh, shoot. I should have blown up that tub before I sent Ghislaine in. Yeah, now he's too close. But that's fine. I think we've got this. And we're done. Silverbark Pauldron. +5 block. That will go to Ghislaine, who is now wielding a pickaxe for some reason. I really would have preferred a sword. And secure the threshery. Site secured, mats gained, and a Brooch of Power. Bonus damage, that's very valuable to both our warriors and our hunter. We just gave the pauldrons to Ghislaine, so let's give this to Kaz. We could give it to Lula. She needs gear too, but it wouldn't bump her up a full integer. Yili Threshery secured. Moving on. Autumn Flower Wood. Lothama Brewery. Almost to Lothama Brewery, aren't we? How would I know? Well, there's a decently high hill. Good vantage point. Let's climb it. Atop the highest hill. That was steeper than it needed to be. Quite a view, though, I'll say that. Something's here. Kaz, this isn't safe. A big old thing. With a bigger, older mama? Oof, I do not like those odds. Come on, love. Let's not disturb it. Let's head down. You're a couple of scared bunnies. Which live longer than the unscared ones? They pick their way down, and not a moment too soon. Up in the nest, the mother eagle lights for a moment, but does not settle. Ooh, she's massive. Definitely a crag eagle. It's coming this way? Bleh. Alright, yeah, that was pretty close. Lula, you alright? Just fast enough, luckily. You? She's back on her nest. Gotta respect the fury of nature's mothers. There's no reward for doing the right thing, but remember this feeling and... Ooh, catch it! String it on a cord! Eagle Feather Talisman. Health boost. Well, Rhett could make the most immediate use of it, but he also has the benefit of Earth Scribe, which grants stacking health bonuses when he interfuses with stone. That aside, I would like to keep Rhett's trinket slot open for a spell boosting item, if we can find one. So yeah, let's give it to Lula. We'll assume that Kaz gave it to her as a gift. They appear in ever-escalating numbers. Raccoon right inside the doorway. And a row just inside to the right. Bring Red up, see if we can torch that raccoon. Nice, nice. I'm assuming it'll burn to death when we end our turn, so we will focus on the row. Lovely. Well, that worked out. And I guess we'll head left first. Or we could go right, since that's clearly where they are. Yep, we had 3 left. That's all of them. Alright, let's take out the raccoon. That'll do it. Kaz with the leapfrog counter. Not too shabby. And we're good. Oh. We do want to eventually upgrade Sentinel. Interrupting movement is pretty handy. But for now, I think we're going to go for long reach. That way Kaz can attack enemies up to 3 spaces away. And a spear. This is a good day for Kaz. Ah, but it's a normal one-handed spear, not a great spear. Though it is still an upgrade. Same reach, higher damage and crit. Yeah, sure. I would prefer a great spear, but this is still a step up, so we'll take it. Oh, and snakestone knee pads, +5 dodge. You know what, we'll give that to Kaz too. Ideally, we want to get him up to at least 70 dodge. You get the sense that the Forest Grieves... Sorry, Lula, but what? You mean these woods here, right now? I mean, if you look through the trees, or listen, feels like peeking through the window of a vacant house. I don't really know, but I wish I could see the things you do. I'd just be happy if you'd be willing to... Someday, I mean. Let's come back here. Try and help the forest. Tend to its pain. I'd love to. Oh, well, that was very sweet. But that is less sweet. Raccoons are now deadlier. Timer just went off. Strap of Courage. +5 block. No question there. That goes to Ghislaine. Yeah, if we can find him a proper sword, he'll be at 72 block. Bogmore. Not sure we're ready for those just yet, so we'll burn 1 legacy point and block that card. Of course, that's not permanent. They will eventually draw that card again. Alright, we've got about 10 minutes left on the clock. I think that's enough time for one more territory. I see we've also got our first incursion coming up soon. That is an enemy army, which will spawn in one of the infested tiles and head straight for the nearest settlement. Which, in this case, is our hometown. With that in mind, I think our best bet is to secure this tile next. Wet of Avama. The God Arches. Did you see the huge moth that landed in Ghislain's hair earlier today? How could I not? And you weren't going to say anything? He walked around with it for like an hour. Tell me a story, before the embers die out. I just want to spend some time in a world where everything fits together nicely. Well, what would you like to hear? How about the Fire King and the Raindrop? Lula described a bitter sorcerer who ruled his realm with a fiery hand. One day, a raindrop fell onto his plate and told him of the suffering his acts had caused. Go on, little teardrop, he laughed, and puffed a warm wind to dry it right up. But another raindrop fell, on his table this time. This one he shriveled with a flick of his fingernail. But still more fell. The sorcerer began shooting gouts of flame and screaming the heat from the earth, but it wasn't enough. The rain fell with one voice, rising, rising, and eventually the Flame King and all his ashery were washed away in a great torrent. And the raindrops all lived happily ever after? As those in inspiring tales tend to? You asked for a story. You got a story, all right? Okay, so that netted us some magic bonuses. Ooh, this battle has reinforcements. And our first neutral spirit. If we can grab that thing fast enough, we can use it to enchant one of our weapons. Of course, we don't want to overextend. So let's knock these guys out first. Boo! You have failed me, Lula. Oof. The RNG is not being kind. Okay, let's go for the stump. That should hopefully blind this cluster and buy us some time. Not too shabby. We at least got the range units. We'll have Kaz sprint for the spirit. Might as well kill that guy. The Ragers are a problem, so let's try to take one out. We'll have Lula go for a backstab. Very nice. Ow. Raccoon is no longer blinded. And reinforcements just showed. Which I'm assuming is over there. Let's flank the Rager again. Fantastic. And grab the spirit. 1 leaf spear, please. So now whenever Kaz lands a crit, he'll gain temporary health. Let's wrap this up. Sit tight, Lula. Boo. Lula. Thank you. And look at that, our first real sword. Which will, of course, go to Ghislaine, and bumps his block up to a respectable 72. And the Bogmores are back. Good for them. We can't actually block it this time, so we now have giant mutant frogs to worry about. But in the grand scheme of things, they're actually not that bad. Trust me, it gets a whole lot worse. There's our incursion. Oh, nice, we're in just the right spot. If we can get defenses up before they actually get here, we'll be in pretty good shape. Speed boost. We'll toss that to one of the fighters. Looks like Ghislaine needs it more. Defenses. Nice. Do we have time for level 3? Oh no, not even close. That said, we are now pushing the hour mark, so I think this is a good place to call it. Right on the cusp of our first incursion. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of some off-screen bookkeeping, maybe tweak some appearances, and we will pick up here next time. With any luck, we might even pick up another recruit or two. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Wildermyth, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.